Let's talk about some of the data behind the existing homes report. Let's talk about the most expensive places to live. And of course, we will talk about what Morgan Stanley says about housing. Folks, these are the 5 things that I would thought were most important for Friday, October 20th. Why don't we just jump to a U.S. News article? U.S. News did some research and found the top 20 top 25, top 25 cities that are the most expensive. Kind of a list that I think you would probably guess the top couple. But there's a very interesting one coming in at number 20. Now, folks, the most expensive cities aren't necessarily the most highest price because, again, in this survey, they were looking at affordability, median income for that city. So number 1 was San Diego, California, comes in at number 1. LA, number 2. Honolulu, number 3. Number 4, Miami. And rounding out the top 5 was Santa Barbara, California. Interestingly enough, number 9 was San Juan, Puerto Rico. Number 11 was New York City. I probably would have guessed New York City was higher than that. But number 20 was Fresno, California. Yes, folks, Fresno is it's getting unaffordable, no doubt. And just to round out the top 25 was Eugene, Oregon. Let's talk about existing home sales. Again, this data came out from National Association of Realtors on Thursday, but we dug into it on Friday. We got the headline number of 3.96, so we broke the 4 million level. I think we are going lower. Transactions are down 15.4% year on year, which is pretty amazing. Last year in September, we did 4.68 for reference. First-time homebuyers, month on month, we're down 2%. Investors were up 3%. I find that very interesting. There is a talk track that investors are not in the market, but according to at least last month, or at least, month of September, was up 3%. Distressed inventory, folks, I should say distressed transactions fell, collapsed 50%. They went from 2% of transactions to 1%. And we have days on market. I do think days on market will start to explode higher. They went from 19 days to 21 days. So again, very, very interesting. I heard something that I had not heard before, and if I had, I have forgotten, and that is the 5 Ds. Yes, folks, apparently there are 5 Ds that will continue to drive the housing market. Those are diapers, diplomas, diamonds, divorce, and death. This is why we will still do roughly 3.8 or so million transactions because of diapers, diplomas, diamonds, divorce, and death. I think it is very interesting to see. Oh, come here, son. Oh, this little guy wanted to come say hi. What do you got on your face? You're playing. All right. Anyways, couple of things about Jerome Powell. He had a talk on Friday that I thought was important. He basically is saying, I'm going to keep being the big bad wolf because if I'm not, inflation's going to turn around. And I kind of get his point, but the 10-year note's up about 75 basis points since the Fed meeting. There's no chance they raise November 1st. But if Powell is going to continue to be the big bad wolf until inflation gets to 2%, I think we are in for an interesting Q4. And I stand by my recession call in Q1. It is going to be interesting. I thought the big bad wolf was sitting on a lounge chair. Nope, the big bad wolf just took a break. And he is back to trying to knock the house down or knock the economy down or whatever you want to kind of highlight there. We have another follower who is retiring. We had, I think it was the trucker landlord, if I remember right, a week ago or so. Here, I'm just going to read the name, the handle. MJF5049 says, quitting his W-2 after 7 years with only 16 units. Folks, that's what it means. You don't need hundreds of units. You don't need thousands of units. You don't need to be a billionaire. You don't need any of these things. If you get in the game, you do the work, you find the deals, you skill up, you sell or finance, you 90% CLTV or 50-40-10s. The opportunities are out there. I think it was Cody the other day did it 3 50-40-10s. A lot of you want to believe it's not possible. You want to believe you can't do it. That's on you. We get proof almost every day that it is possible. It's hard. I would argue it's really, really, really hard, but it is also really, really worth it. You got to learn the market. You got to have a buy box. You got to learn average. You got to do the right things, but it is all there for you. What do I want to talk? Blackstone, good old Jonathan Gray. Jonathan Gray has long been thought to be one of the best real estate investors out there, certainly commercial. He is out there highlighting that Americans are about to feel the impact of soaring bond yields. I would say that's an understatement. If we do have the big bad wolf huffing and puffing, and now we have a 10-year at 5 and we have mortgage rates at 8, it is going to get dicey. So I agree with Jonathan. And then the last thing, it looks like President Biden is requesting $105 billion in aid. Apparently $61 billion for Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel, $2 billion for Taiwan, and $9 billion for humanitarian. I added all that up, and I seem to be missing $19 billion. So I'm not sure where the other 19 goes. Maybe that's a tax or something. I have no idea. But it does seem like we are continuing to spend. So, folks, lastly, Morgan Stanley changes opinion about U.S. housing. They had a negative call on housing, 4% negative for the year. They are now saying up 5%, which is kind of interesting. And they followed that up by changing 2024 as well to positive 3.5%. Folks, have an amazing day. I know it is tough out there. I know we got a lot going on. Keep your head down. Keep doing the work. Don't let doomers, crash bros distract you. You have a job to do. It is hard out there, but it is worth it. Have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.